These price increases have nothing to do with the product itself. They have basically everything to do with the marketing of the brand. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tor and this is Anthropology. Thank you for joining me in another video. If this is your first time, thank you so much for clicking on it. So glad that you're here. Hope you enjoy your stay. If you do, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. This channel is growing super fast. I'm now over 1,000 subscribers, which is so exciting. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. So happy to have you here in another video. This will be another podcast style video. So grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, put me on in the background, fold some laundry, whatever it may be. This one will be, interesting. It may be a hot topic for some. So this is going to be about price increases. So there's been a lot of talk on the internet around the price increases, from purse forums to purse blog to just general chats on YouTube, and people are shook. The people are quaking. Okay, so to start off, I want to talk about the poll that I did. So I did a poll on price increases on my community tab. Check it out if you want to engage with me. I don't have Instagram. This is the closest that I have. So I got 73 votes. So the question was, are designer price increases getting out of hand? I had 3 options. The first one being yes, they are becoming extortionate. 2 being no, they're justified, they can do what they want. And 3 being yes and no. So of the 73 votes, 89% voted for yes, they're becoming extortionate. 3% voted no, that they're justified, which I thought was interesting, and 8% said yes and no. So overall, there was an overwhelming response that yes, the price increases are becoming out of hand. And with all of these types of videos, I will be breaking it down into a few different parts. So the first part will be, why do they happen? Why do these price increases happen? Why are they happening with increasing frequency? When do they happen as well? What brands do they happen to? Why they're good? And also why they're bad. I will be throwing my opinion here and there. All right, so the first part of this video, I want to talk a little bit about why these price increases happen. So price increases are not new anywhere, but within the luxury world, they have been coming faster and they've been coming harder. So price increases are more so in line with supply and demand. So throughout the pandemic, starting 2 years ago, I would say, 2020 is when price increases really started to take off. Brands were really struggling to sell product, especially ones that were not strong in e-commerce. So brands like Chanel, brands like Hermes, and ones that do not go through department stores primarily. So through the logic of supply and demand, if there's also less supply because the artisans are not building these bags, because the factories are closed, but the demand is still there for luxury goods, considering people could not travel, people were saving money. In some cases, in other cases, people were losing money, but in some cases, people were saving, and they wanted to buy goods. They wanted to fulfill that happiness through the purchase of goods because they could not do it elsewhere. So the demand increased while the supply decreased, and with that comes classic supply and demand economics, where if the demand is higher than the supply, the price will go up. So luxury goods as an industry has been growing very quickly throughout the past, couple decades. It has really skyrocketed. People are loving the luxury goods. It's getting bigger and bigger each year as they sort of traverse their way around the globe. It's becoming at a point where some of these items are becoming overexposed. So part of that meaning the Chanel classic flap, the Louis Vuitton sort of canvas pieces, these bags are becoming very overexposed in the sense that they are classic, so they've been around for a long time, but also everybody and their mother seems to want one, and everybody and their mother seems to have one. So Chanel has been notorious lately for doing multiple price increases per year, sort of just out of the blue, either before a lockdown ends, just so they can get people in right away before, while they're held captive, basically, to increase panic buying, the scarcity mindset. But also it seems like they are wanting to have more inventory control over who has access to purchase the goods. By increasing the prices, they are limiting who can access these goods. Thus, they are limiting who can be seen with their items. So they are really tailoring their customer base to reflect what they are wanting it to reflect. So they're looking at making it so less and less people can afford to buy these goods. The entry-level bag is out the window now. Everything starts at like 2-3K, and they're also looking to compete more with Hermes. There is quite a few differences between Chanel and Hermes just in terms of quality, but in terms of the pricing, they're getting almost pretty neck and neck at this point. So along those same lines, they're looking at raising the status of their brand. So in 1990s, Chanel, like a medium classic flap, was around 1,500. As of July 2021, this is just the figure that I got, it was 7,800 USD. That's a big freaking increase from 1150 to 7,800. So with that, they've been looking at increasing and elevating the status of their brand to move towards that Hermes tier. Hermes is viewed as, you know, the creme de la creme, the highest, the king of luxury, whatever it may be. And Chanel is looking to achieve that. They're looking to get into that bracket where they are equivalent with Hermes. There is a big difference between the two. Hermes quality never seems to waver. Chanel quality is, you know. So along those same lines, price increases weren't always the norm multiple times a year. They used to be, you know, once per year, once every few years maybe. Some brands have not increased the prices of certain goods in a very long time, but now they're becoming quite more frequent. Than the past few years, there were like one every spring, one every fall. Now it's been like one in the spring, one in the summer, one in the fall, maybe one in the winter as well. And I've noticed this with particularly Prada and Miu Miu. So Prada and Miu Miu are owned by the same, you know, Prada Holdings company, and thus they have similar pricing strategies and structures. And I've noticed that for certain items, they've just been constantly just steadily going up, Over the past 2 years, it'll be very incognito, like $100 here, $50 there, but slowly, they've been going up. And I noticed this with the Prada re-edition bag. So when this one came out, it was around $800. Now it's pushing $1,500, and it's been out for maybe 2 years. So the bag has increased almost double. It's almost completely doubled itself in this short time period. Whereas other brands like Celine, the Celine Nano has not increased in price in years. It's been very stable, and thus not all brands will be raising their prices in order to compete within this pricing strategy. So I also noticed Miu Miu, the Miu Miu bag that I got, when it first launched, it was around like 3,100, then it went to 3,300, which is the price that I got it at, then it went up to 3,500, all within the span of like 2 months. And I thought that was a bit much. It was a bit much from a consumer standpoint, but I do find it interesting. So not all brands will go up all the time. And then some brands like Chanel, like LV, they've been doing multiple price increases throughout the years, and some of their bags are just getting really not worth it at this point. I've been seeing a lot of videos like, are these LV bags still worth it? For me, I really wanted the mini pochette, and that one, I believe like a few years ago, was like $400 or $500. Now it's like $1,000, and I'm like, no. It's a tiny little bag. There's no freaking way I'm spending $1,000 on a piece of canvas with like a chain on it. It's just kind of crazy, which leads me to my next point. So why are these good? Why are these price increases good? You know, they are necessary for brands, given that there's inflation happening. So part of why they happen is inflation. The prices or the percentages that they are increasing these goods at is not inflation. You know, 20% price increase is not 8% inflation, but part of it is inflation, labor costs, trying to recuperate money from the pandemic, given that they had a slumped sales for all of 2020 basically, but then in 2021 it rebounded past pre-pandemic levels, so they need to sell less goods in order to make the profit back. Another part is shareholders. Obviously these companies are public, they are, you know, publicly held companies with IPOs, with shares, thus they need to give back to their shareholders primarily first, given that they are the main investors. But price increases are not all bad. They are good, especially if you bought something, for example, like the Chanel Classic Flap in the 1990s. If you bought it for $1150 USD, you keep it in mint condition, you wear it a few times, it still looks beautiful, you could sell it today for $5,000-6,000 easy on the pre-loved market. However, if you buy a classic flap today, who knows if it's going to keep going up? Who knows if it's going to stand the test of time given their quality control issues, and given the fact that if you buy one today, it may not be an investment because what you sell it for may not be the same. You need to have bought it, you know, well in advance. It's like the housing market. If you bought a house, you know, 30 years ago for like $15,000 or whatever. Maybe I clearly don't know how much houses cost, but then today you sell it for like $1 million, you're making money. If you buy a house for like 900,000 and you sell it for like 950, you know, are you really making money? So some bags for sure could be viewed as investments, especially like Hermes bags. They sell for double the price on the pre-loved market. I saw Maria Draganova's most recent vlog where she went to Hermes and they had all the pricing, and I was kind of shocked. I thought the bags would be a lot more than they were actually listed at. Some of them were like 9,000 euros, which is insane money for sure. But then on like the pre-loved market, they sell for like 20,000 US dollars. So the price increases and the scarcity definitely do play into supply and demand, which raises the prices across the board. I think price increases are bad, at least at the rate that they're going, for a few different reasons. One, they're highly exclusionary. Luxury as an industry is exclusionary within and of itself. It's meant for a select few. It's not meant for everybody. However, the trade-off that we're getting now is very different from before. What a Chanel classic flap would have been a few years ago would have been for the money. Like, you would have gotten a lot of bag for the money. You would have gotten high grade leather. You would have gotten gold plated hardware. Now we're getting brass hardware. We're getting questionable stitching. Brands have had to do a lot of cost cutting measures. And I think that you're not really paying for the product anymore, you're paying for the brand. These price increases have nothing to do with the product itself. They have basically everything to do with the marketing of the brand, with trying to maintain exclusivity, trying to elevate the brand, trying to, you know, pay back shareholders. They have nothing to do with the quality of the item that you're purchasing. And I think with all of these recent price increases, that has really been coming to light, that these companies don't care about elevating the product quality. They care about elevating the status of their brand. Luxury as an industry is based completely on brand image and being viewed and perceived by the consumer as either aspirational, something that they want to achieve, something that they want to buy into to achieve the lifestyle that is being portrayed by the companies, or is to sort of buy into this affluence, try to move class through buying into a good, into buying a classic flap. If you buy a classic flap, suddenly you're an elite. And, you know, I talked a little bit about this in my video on counterfeits that I did recently. I'll link it down below and in the card section. But people are trying to achieve this look constantly, as if you are perceived wealthy, if you are perceived wealthier than you are, if you dress well, you will be treated differently and you will be given different opportunities. So it is a way, especially through social media, to try to have class mobility, to try to move around. But these price increases are sort of shutting people out. The entry-level bag exists no more, especially given that wages have been super stagnant. Inflation just on everyday goods has been increasing, and these price increases are just becoming unsavory, especially given that there's been so many throughout the pandemic. People have been locked at home, people have been unable to shop, and it just seems like these brands are really taking advantage of that. It's getting a lot. Like, I really don't know what to think anymore. I definitely feel like I'm being priced out of certain brands. Like, I mean, I've been priced out of Chanel. That's never been for me. I've been priced out of Dior. You know, I can't spend $6,000 on a bag. Celine is still fairly accessible to me. I feel like their pricing has been very good. It was like a few years ago, Celine I thought was priced quite a bit higher than other brands. And now with all the price increases, it seems to be either at par or below some brands. So I think it's just very interesting. The pricing strategy for all brands is not the same, even within the holding companies like LVMH, like Kering. So let me know what you think about price increases. I'll link a few other videos below from a few different creators. Like Jess did a fairly in-depth video on price increases. Classic with a Kirk, she does a lot of different price increase videos, you know, whenever there's one on LV, Chanel, Dior, YSL. And I just think for me, I can't really get behind certain items anymore or certain brands, or I'm looking for alternatives, just because I want to focus more on the product. I want to focus more on getting a quality product that will last me a long time, that will be made very well, that will feel luxurious, more so than buying into a brand and paying for marketing. I don't want to pay more for something that is lesser quality. And I feel like the divide now between the quality and the price It used to be more, equivalent. Now I feel like it's more imbalanced, and what we're receiving for the good, especially given the whole, luxury experience has changed. I'll get into another video on that, on how the luxury experience has changed. Please comment down below your experiences in luxury so I can include it in those videos. But yeah, for me, I just feel like I'm moving more towards contemporary brands and moving more towards looking for goods that are high quality, or looking for the good itself, as opposed to purchasing from the brand or purchasing, being like a label whore. So that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think down below. Please like, please subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on the bell if you want to be notified when I post. I post on Mondays and Thursdays at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye, guys.